Idegun have very serious taboo. The first of them is rabbit. Every descendant of Opoimalo is forbidden to eat rabbit. Nobody have an affair with a woman or this until he becomes a man. Talk less of even going to marry. And where they go is the Aki. That is between Yoba and Uzoki. That is where the Aki was. That is where they go for this wrestling as well. According to the narration, they wrestled for almost hours. No one was following each other down. Eventually.
This channel was created to record and preserve the history of the Idegun people. Idegun is a village in Anwain located in Etsako West local government area of Edo State, Nigeria, Africa. With many of our indigenes scattered across the world, it becomes incumbent to record, show, and preserve her rich history and culture for her children alive now and those to come.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Idegun Kama. Our host begins this episode with a recap of the last episode.
Let me recap how Idegun came. As I said, Idegun is the eldest son of Opoimalo, the progenitor of Idegun. He had 3 children, Idegun, Uzoki, and Idioba. He migrated from Benin, from a quarter in Benin called Idegun. As a result of upheaval and wars at that time. So, as a caring father, he decided to take refuge in the interior in order to save the lives of the children. So, as I said in that episode, he went into the interior far to Esalat. And his first destination was Iruen Aziz. You still have a village around there now, where that is where he first settled. And that place was named after Idegun, the first son, that is Idegun Ebodi. That is the place where they first settled. And when he felt that the war heat was still coming, so he decided to go more interior, where he later settled at this location called Idegun. That is how Idegun now came to be in the location where they are. So Idegun being the first son. As a result of increase, he decided to relocate his brothers, that is after the demise of his parents, to the location where you now have Uzoki, Irion. This is the second episode of Idegun Kama. We are talking about the ceremony. Iruen, for example. What is the meaning of Iruen? Iruen is manhood. That is when children have come to the age of being a man. In olden days, nobody have an affair with a woman or this until he becomes a man. Talk less of even going to marry. So it is when now they become men, after the ceremony of manhood, which is Iruen, that they become, that is where they are now given that status of man. That is the origin. And now it has been modernized because of the constitution and the modern DC. You cannot be a man when you are under 18. So from now, 18 years, you cannot do your manhood. And there is a bracket of manhood. That is people born within 3 years. They are in the same age group, which is called O2, Eleko 2. The people within 3 years, born within 3 years, their age group, Eleko 2, Radio 2, I think they become. So they now celebrate that this with every 3 years. That's how it is done. And it used to be a very, it's a carnival form because it's a milestone that makes you a man. So there are certain things you do, as I said in the other. There are special dress they wear, Igbulu. And this ceremony initially was done for 7 days. Part of these 7 days, they will visit each house, pay homage to all the houses in the village, and even to neighboring, especially Ilioba and Uzoki. They pay homage, they go there. Initially, before, they both Ilioba, Uzoki, because it was a one village, they do this manhood together. And how do you determine Odion, that is seniority, and then was by wrestling. So apart from Odion, which is determined and it must come from the royal house. So that Odion is permanent from there. They nominate who will be Odion, that is out of the sibling or the children who are womanhood in that royal family. They will now appoint, this is who will be the Odion. So that Odion will remain. Nobody will wrestle with him. But another person from the family or so, or from anywhere, can now say, no, I will be second. Then another person will say, no, I challenge you as second. They will wrestle. Whoever defeated it will become the second. That's how the seniority was done. And that, as I said, within the villages, so that is Ilioba and Uzoki. I gave an example. That we were told, I was not born there, my uncle, Jausma, is from the same family, royal family, with Enabo. The royal family now appointed Enabo as to be the head, the number one. That is Odion, the lineage. And in that family, this was there, Jausma was there, and Enabo was there. I think there's one other person who did. So when it comes to seniority, and where the go is the Aki, that is between Yoba and Uzoki. That is where the Aki was. That is where they go for this wrestling and so. When they got there, I'm just giving an example of that. When they got there, of course, it's already established that Enabo was going to be number one. So Jausman said, he's from the same family. Say he will be number 2. Somebody from Yoba now, of course, I said they were almost in the same village. Agbonoga. He said, no, he will be number 2. Okay, let them say wrestle. So Jausma of blessed memory and Agbonoga of blessed memory, who is from Yoba, they now wrestle. According to the narration, they wrestled for almost hours. No one was following each other down. Eventually, Jausma won. Either they say Agbonoga neck down. When he carried neck down with one knee, then they carried Jausma, so he has won. So you discover that in that family, Nabo became first, Jausma became second. But in the family cycle, this, who is a cousin to Jausma, is senior by age. It's not age to Jausma. So when they are within the family, this is always the senior to Jausma. But when they come outside, because Jausma wrestled and won, he is the second. So this were how seniority were determined during Iruen. Seniority, the Odion, is like a captain in a class. Now you even use the word of the president. Now the president is number 1 in DC. So whenever the group is meeting, he presides over and so on. but they do everything together. So I don't have the fortune of being like a captain in the class, as I said. Now, I have said with the modernization and so on, we have tried to rectify that because then there was no birth register. In order to remove all this rancor, and this is not the time of wrestling again, what we have done in the past 3 years or so, we agree that yes, to a royal house, we will still continue to nominate Giorgio. That is number one. While the birth register will be followed strictly. So as they were born, let them follow like that. That was what we agreed upon later at the palace. But the enforcement, I don't know. So this is the Iruen and so on. And coming to the ceremony again, although I said it in the first episode, Iruen ceremony is always it's a carnival form. Now they have now included women there. In those days, women do not celebrate this thing with men. But nowadays, women, both men and women, the women folk also join them for their age group. Before the women do their own, you know, for instance, me, I know those who are my age group in the women, but we were never having the same ceremony coming out together. Because women have their own ceremony when they want to go to this, which they call it Iyawo. And that one is about the woman will be housed during that 7 days or so in the house. They will be feeding her. He will have her own daughter. He will nominate somebody who will serve as a daughter. During that time, those are how the women's womanhood or so will perform them. So they done together. It is when they want to marry, they go and Yahoo and they do all the ceremony and so. So that one is another aspect, how the women do that Yahoo also. That is another aspect. Ritual to ensure completion. You have to, within that 7 days, they visit all the houses. The father, somebody who choose the age group as their father, as their children, or the father of the age group, they will have to go there to eat first. He will cook for the age group. They will eat there before they even cook. Then eventually, after that day, any of the age group can decide to cook. Because if you don't cook for your age group, you have not completed your manhood. That is the tradition. But I know most of them are cited it. You are not recognized. You are not that your manhood is not completed without cooking for your age group. If you don't, for instance, I am talking. I have my children. If I had not done it, if my children, any of my children want to do his own, if he cook, my age group will come and carry the food. So you must cook for your age group. That completes your Iruen. And that cooking has its time. It's not just cook like that. No, they have a special pot, cooking pot, which they use for the soup. And they have a fish also that they will use to cover the pot. And the age group will be satisfied that this is the standard food. Otherwise, they can reject the food. So this was the tradition. I know, but now most of these things have been scaled down. But the cooking is still very paramount and is of high quality. And the cooking is not you don't take any other food, it is pounded with different soup. And in most cases then, it is a drawing soup or bolo. So, and the fish is fish. They used to cover the mouth. And all sorts of things, all sorts of delicacies. It's a very highly qualified quality food that he cook for age group. And as I said, the age group can reject. The age group now have a name, that is Ogbe. Ogbe is like a comrade. That is, every age member of that age group now know themselves as Ogbe. That is my comrade, my comrade. That's how they call themselves. And they also have right to shake themselves with left hand. They can shake themselves with left hand. Anytime you see themselves and you want to be, Ogbe, you shake your fellow member with left hand. Animal too. That is, animal too is actually the spirit that binds the age group together. That is animal too. And anybody who goes against that spirit, that is, he went animal too. And the two can find him, or as I say, it can be ostracized. That is animal too. It's very, very important. Then again, there are certain things that they should not do among themselves. It's very important. Each member of the age group should not take each other's wife. They should not have any affair with another member's wife. They should not do anything criminal or anything against your fellow age group. These are very, very serious taboo that within the two they should not do to each other. Then Oko. Oko is really a penalty. The age group also have their own Oko. That is any member who default from the set rules of the age group, the age group will find Oko. That is the Oko. Is just really a fine. You have to pay. If they fail to pay, the age group can suspend him. They can say they are not going to take part anything that concerns him. Nobody is born to be this as before. We are talking of how Idegun, the traditional setting up of Idegun. Before, nobody is born to be a king or so. Rulership is done by acceptance of the charisma of somebody, an indigenous from that village. That is before time immemorial. So when that leader is accepted, automatically that's how the rulership becomes the head of the village as well. Until the advent of the colonial masters as well, when the institution of kingship was established, and they now have clan heads with the traditional ruler of the whole community, and now each village now have its own village heads and so on. So that is how it is. And once you now have that ruler, there are some villages it is established from father to son, just like that. That's how it was. But now each village has its own rule. But I think with the modern edition, they now have with a court, so they have established traditional houses where they must always produce the traditional ruler and the village heads. And it is the traditional ruler now who are now appoints people who he feels that is capable based on the recommendation of the village to be the chiefs. So the palace chiefs were then like Daudu, Yama, Dania, and all those are in that hierarchy. Dadu was next to the village. Then you have Yama, you have Dania, you have Sedenu, you have all other this. That is before. Those are the palace chiefs. Then you have some, like if it's a traditional ruler who is clan head, he cannot appoint honorary title holder that their title transcends the village. People who are known for what they have done in the whole community, not only the village, the whole community and so on. or outside, or who either they were one way or the other children of the community, or they are even outside the community, but they have done one thing and the other for the interest of the community. Those people can be recognized as a chiefs, that is honorary chiefs. In most cases, those chiefs are higher than the village chiefs. Burial rites before the advent of modern religion, that is Islam and Christianity. It was known as Itolimi. Itolimi was the burial rites then. And that Itolimi is accorded to when one's father or mother or whoever passed away. He said a day is set aside for that Itolimi. And that Itolimi, how it was done is they will climb up a big tree with all items. They carry items and they begin to distribute the items to everybody from all the trees. Somebody who climbed up with the item will begin to throw the item down. People will begin to that is Itolimi. And there is a very set way of doing that Itolimi. So that it is when you do that, that is, you have accorded your parents, your father, your mother, the right thing. That was traditional, how it was done. But now with the advent of modern religion, Islam have their own way of Fida of prayers. Christians have their own way, whether they call it wakekeeping or thanksgiving or so on. So those are the burial rites. Each religion determines how it is done. But as a Muslim, I would say most of these, all these are being guided by what is in the Quran and the Hadith. As a Muslim, let me quickly clarify a point here. There are some comments and what I would say derogatory remarks about certain people that they are not from Idegun because they are from Idiom or Uzoki. Let me quickly correct that impression now. What happened is that, as I said, Uzoki and Ibioba, as they now know as villages, were quarters in Idegun. So it's like this sibling feeling that, getting either he want to move to another quarter within his place as a result of more fertile land in that place, or he want to be a bit independent from his parents. So some of the people, some of the children of Idegun now move to places like Uzoki and Ibioba. So, like people like, let me be specific, like people like the psychics now. Some people make allusion, they are not from Idegun, they are from Ibioba. People like my own ones, Mokare, from Mokare descendant, they will say they are from Uzoki. That is not correct. So the issue is that, like these people, they move to their quarters within Idegun. Even late 30s, 1930s or so, late, when OR, the traditional ruler then, granted autonomy to Iyoba. Iyoba was a quarter in Idegun. Same thing with Uzoki. So if the people there, those who left Idegun there to stay in those quarters and later decided to come back to their original it does not make them say they are not people or they are not indigenous of that village. So it still happens up to today. For instance, you have people, take it from my own family. We have some people who are from my family who are still in Nama today. So if they decide later to come back to their original village or to integrate with their family, all they have to do is to do some restriction. That is, Ekigbe Ijeri. That is, make a sacrifice of a go say, I have returned home. And they will be integrated into the family and into the village. So that is exactly what happened. Even in Ibiobatri in the issue of the circuit too. There are some of his siblings who are still in Ibioba today. That quest, you have some Ibioba people who came to Idegun too like that, just because it was one village. They came, they married at Idegun there, and their children are still in Idegun. So although they are late now, the children they are still in Idegun, and they have now integrated into the village, and they have even been given autonomy to have their own family. So they now have their own family. So that is what happened. Like Ama too, you still have you have Ama people who are up to today, as I'm talking now, are in Idegun. Because their parents came from Ama, they decided to stay at Idegun. The children were born and they grew up in Idegun. So married in Idegun. So if today they decide to go back to Ama, all they have to do, they can go back to Ama, do the necessary restitution, and the family there will ascend them into the family. And the village Ama will also ascend them. All they have to do is do the restitution. And if they decide, and if those who are already in Idegun decide, say, oh, no, we are not going to, because we are born here with this, we are no longer, we want to remain here. They can seek authority and have their own family. A family, they will give them autonomy to have their own family activity. So this is what happened. And so I just want to make that clarification to say that some Idegun people, they are Yoruba or they are Ozoki. That's why I quickly make that clarification. Idegun have very serious taboo. The first of them is rabbit, Elo. We call it Elo. Every descendant of Okpoimalo is forbidden to eat that rodent they call rabbit, Elo. That Elo is the rodent with the white tail. That is the rabbit. I don't know this English rabbit. That is what we regard as Elo. It's highly forbidden. And why? How is it forbidden? It's a story. It is the Okpoimalo when he left from Medici, when he was searching for food to feed his family, he entered the bush, and to his surprise, he met a farm that always had already been ready for harvest. And the children are dying at home with this. So he started to harvest the while he was doing it, from nowhere, somebody just appeared and said, "What are you stealing?" I said, "No, he's not stealing. It was a rabbit. There is a rabbit that is trying to do." So he said, "Okay, with a weapon," he will say, "Let me see if you don't get this rabbit, I will kill you here." So he started to dig. And to the amazement and surprise that a very big rabbit just came out. So they put your hand in, so the rabbit escaped. Then he now turned to the man and said, "You must pay that rabbit, that is the only source of food for my children today. Now you have allowed it to." So the man now say, "Okay, harvest every food in this farm." So when he called his children and said, "Look, I would have been dead now also, or you people would have not." He narrated the story to him and said, from now, he brought out a chalk and put it on the head of this. He said, "From now, any of my children and the descendant that ever eat rabbit, I will remove the nose from the." Say, if there is no nose in the face, the beauty is removed. So that is why rabbit is seriously forbidden. And until very much, anybody who eats a rabbit anywhere, they always bring them he will be having nose problem. Until they come to the village, they do the restitution before he's killed. Then there are other taboos like I thought of a marriage. Our daughter who married, he should never be beaten by the husband with slippers or broom or so on. Though at the time of marriage, all these things are known. Both the family and the groom, they always pay the taboo of the village and the family. And again, our daughter, with the however quarrel, however problem you have with your husband, you don't sleep. You are sleeping with your husband. The husband is face is his head is one side. Your own side head will be down where his leg is facing. Is seriously forbidden. There are so many other taboos that we don't. The time allocated we cannot be able to go into all this. But whatever happens is that there is no taboo that without a restitution. As I said, it's a long, it's not a thing we can just cover like that. But I'm happy that at least we'll be able to let the children, their children's children, and so know what is in our Idegun. So in a nutshell, these are the summary of the second episode of Idegun Kama. And I'm happy. I pray to Almighty God, Mighty Allah, to strengthen, to protect all of you, my children, and the children yet unborn, and every Idegun person listening or viewing this video. No one is an island. I'm not a reservoir for all this knowledge. I thank you all for viewing this video. Please like it, subscribe, and inshallah we'll be able to give you your satisfaction. Thank you very much. God bless you all.